Okay, we're looking at equations of circles today now with this video here. Um, Here's your general standard form for an equation of a circle. You've got x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r. We've seen h and k with the vertex with the quadratics. H and k is actually the center. So h and k is the center of the circle. And then r is going to be your radius. That's pretty standard. And that's going to be our equation. So we want to be able to identify things from an equation and then be able to write an equation. That's our goal here. Again, be able to identify the center and the radius and also be able to write those as well. So these first few examples, I'm given an equation. I want to find the center and the radius. Guys, my center should, as long as it's in standard form, should be very easy to find. If you notice, this is a minus and minus. So if I have x plus h here, or 5 here, this is my h and this is my k. But I have to make sure it's the opposite signs here. So this would be -5 and this would be +3 here. So my center would be at -5, +3 because of the general form where it's minus minus, so it's always the opposite. The inside's always the opposite. Okay? And then my radius is just going to be this number squared, so or square rooted. So the square root of 25, which is 5. Or you can think of what squared gives me that number. So 5 squared gives me that. So that'd be my center and my radius. Okay, for this lower example here, my center, if I don't have anything there, I go 0 with the h. And then my k would be -9 because of this here. So again, 0. And then this is going to be the opposite here with this one, just -9 here. And then my radius, I'm going to square root 36. That would give me 6 would be my radius. Again, 6 squared gives me 36, and that would be there. So we're just identifying radiuses and centers here. Okay, now I can go the other way. If I give you the center and I give you the radius, I want you to give me the equation of this. So this one should just be in this form, in our standard form here. Again, we should have y here, we should have x here. If this is my h and this is my k, again, if you look at that general form, h is here, k is there. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to change the sign. So it'll be +4 here, and then this will be -3 here. That's where I put those values. And then this side has to be the radius squared. So 7 squared would give me 49 would be what I'd have there. Okay, if I look at this next one here, this is going to be 0 and 3. So there's my h and there's my k. So this is going to be just x squared. I don't need the parentheses if it's just 0. And then plus y minus 3 again, squared. Don't forget the squareds. You got to have those there. And then this is r squared. 11 squared is 121 would be in my equation for that one. And then I can also do it from a graph. If I look at a graph, it's pretty easy. I just got to identify where my center, my radius is. My center is at 1, 2, 3, 1. So this center is at -3, 1. That would be the center. And then it looks like my radius from here to here is 2 units. And so now I can go ahead and write my equation. So this would be x plus 3 because I'm going to change that sign, and then y minus 1. And then don't forget your squared there. And then this is radius squared, so this will be 4 because 2 squared is 4. Okay. We can also do some story problems here. If I've got an earthquake, its epicenter is at 2030, so that would be right here at this point here. And the earthquake is felt 40 miles away. That means the radius is 40 miles. Okay. So if you notice, these are all in increments of 10, just so you guys are aware of that. So what I'm going to do is go out 40 each way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be as far as it go that way. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And then I'm going to just kind of sketch this circle here. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll give us somewhat of an idea. And then what cities felt that? Well, B would have been. I would probably say D and F would. They're probably within that range there. But A is not going to. E is not going to, and neither is C going to be able to as well. So it would just be those points that would actually be able to fill that from that epicenter there. So, okay. Then the last thing, this is for more of a honors courses. We want to be able to write these in standard form. This is a general form equation for a circle. We do know it's a circle because it's got x squared and y squared. Whenever that happens, we do have a circle here, but we want to be able to write it in standard form. We want it in this form here, which we just talked about. Oops. So let me show you guys how we're going to do that. So the first thing we're going to do, because we've got to manipulate a few things, is we're going to get the x and y's next to each other and the constant on the right side. Okay. So for that, I need this x squared and this 4x right next to each other. I'm just going to go x squared plus 4x. Oops, that's a y. X. Okay. Then I'm going to put my y's next to each other. So I'm going to go plus y squared plus 12y. I just put those two together. And then this constant needs to go to the other side. So if I move that to the other side, this is going to become a minus 39. Okay. All right, from there, I've got to add a couple values to both sides. So I'm going to take the coefficient in front of just the x term, and I'm going to half it and square it. So always half it and square it. And so if I half 4, that'll be 2, and I square that, that'll be 4. So I'm going to add 4 to this side, but I have to add 4 to this side as well. And then I have to take the coefficient in front of the y, so I only take the coefficients in front of the x and the y and do this. I'm going to half it and square it. So I'm going to take the 12 and I'm going to half that. That would give me 6. 6 squared would give me 36, so I'm going to add 36 to this side. I have to add 36 to this side as well. And so when I rewrite this, this is what it looks like. It looks like x squared plus 4x plus 4. And then I have y, or plus y squared plus 12y plus 36, and this is all equal to, I can combine this all, that is going to give me 1 over here. And the nice thing about this, now I've got this equation here for just x that I can factor. Again, if you guys remember factoring, I'm going to multiply a and c, that'll give me 4. I need two numbers to multiply 4 and add to 4. That'll give me 2 and 2, so that would give me x plus 2 twice, which I can just put it as x plus 2 squared, which is what I want, if you guys notice. And then I'm going to take the y and do the same thing. I'm going to multiply a and c together. That would give me 36. Two numbers multiply 36 and add to 12. That would be 6 and 6. So that would be y plus 6 and y plus 6, which I can write that as y plus 6 squared because it's the same. And then this would be 1. So the nice thing about that is now I know where my center is. My center is at -2, -6, and my radius is at the square root of 1, which is just 1. So that would be my center, my radius. If I was looking at this one on the right, the only extra step I'd have to do is I've got to divide everything by 8 because I need x squared and y squared to be 1. So when I do that, that would give me x squared, and I'm going to put the x's together. If I divide this one, that would give me -2x. This would give me plus y squared. This would give me minus 4y, and then I'm going to add that 88 over, which will give me equal to 88 here. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I just did. I'm going to half and square the x, the coefficient, and the y coefficient. So half of -2 is -1. And I square -1 gives me a +1, so I'm going to plus 1 here. And then for this one, half of that is -2. 2 squared is 4, so I'm going to plus 4. Okay. And so I get x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then I've got y squared minus 4y plus 4 equals, that would be what, 93? Okay. And then I can factor. When I factor, this becomes x minus 1. This becomes y minus 2, and then equals 93. So my center would be at 1, 2, and then my radius is going to be equal to whatever the square root of 93 is. That's not an even number, so we can just leave that as that. Okay, that's been your math moment with Mommy. Adios.